Where the student them see we are. Where the student see we are. I want to go on campus. We are carry the land from campus. Come on, tell me what I want. Campus connection, tell me what I want. Campus connection, I don't go on from campus. Young people like a hard from campus. Come on, tell me what I want. Campus connection, tell me what I want. Hey, I want to know everything. Got to get you interviews. Yeah, where them a tell you education news. Sit down and listen, have nothing to lose. Plus, you know them must bring something for you. Word of the day, that is something for your use. Bread of life, that I know my food. Plus, man, I bust a tune, bust a campus tune. Now make it go and bounce in my room. Cause I that I go on from campus. We are carried a lot from campus. Come on, tell me what I want. Campus connection, yeah, that's a one. Campus connection.
Seasons, greetings. You are now inside Campus Connection here on Love 101. Welcome to a new episode. And guess who I am? Am I Floyd or am I Steve? Well, woo, I am Stevenson Samuels. And if you are new around here, we want to welcome you. I want to send a shout out to all teachers, all students, all principals tuning in. And as usual, I am not alone. I got my co-host with me on the other side of this evening's program.
Hey, Radio Land, I'm Floyd Wilson. Yes, I am the co-host here, and I'm ready for a great evening program today. And I just want to give a shout out to all of the campus sites now. Where are the students? I hope you are logging on right now, and we hope you can, because this is a show that is made especially for you, and so we want to hear from you. So today in Campus Connection, we have a great program lined up for you. As usual, we have the Bread of Life. That's where we have a third-year student, the third-year economics and statistics students at the University of the West Indies. Yared Taylor will be sharing with us a word there in our Bread of Life segment. We'll be having our On Our Mind segment, where we will share some things that's on the host's mind at this time.
And in our Let's Talk About It segment, we will be chit-chatting about being student and governmental leader at the same time. We have a chat with Jamaica's first and maybe I should say Jamaica's first and youngest senator, who is the shadow minister for youth and sport. And she is none other than Gabriela Morris. And here we have another female striking a first in Jamaica.
Looking forward definitely to hear from Gabriela in our Let's Talk About It segment. But in our second Let's Talk About It segment, we'll be joined by outgoing Youth Prime Minister and 2019 Prime Minister Youth Awardee David Salmon. He'll be with us in our second Let's Talk About It.
This is just going to be absolutely great this evening, talking to persons who have gone through the educational journey, but at the same time, they have yielded themselves to providing leadership at the national and governmental levels. Well, it's really going to be a great program. You've got to listen, and as parents, you've got to get your youngsters to tune in so that they can understand how to mature as a student and become a student leader. So for our young people and those students who want to pursue governmental leadership, please, we want you to be a part of this program. So ensure you give us a call to have or ask our guests questions. So please just tune in, and you can give a call at any time during the program so that you can get the privilege of asking and clarifying some issues you have in your own mind with these young national leaders.
I think this is going to be a great and an inspirational program for campusites who are listening. We're going to be talking with some young people who are not only just focused on their studies, but they're also focused on making a difference and giving back to our nation. So we want you to connect with us. We're going to be opening the line so you can call us on our studio lines at 876-968-8327. You can also call us at 876-968-8328. You can also connect with us on our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125. We want to hear from you. We're going to be having a great program. Having you tune in is going to make it even better. Right now, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back after these messages.
Tell me what I want, campus connection, tell me what I want. I want to know everything, got to get your interviews. Yeah, where them a tell you education news.
Flow Internet plus your Flow postpaid mobile equals super savings. We're talking 50% off your postpaid mobile plan. Just add your postpaid plan to your Flow home internet so your family can share their favorite videos, stay on top of work emails, and stream their new favorite song over and over, whether at home or on the go. Now everyone can stay connected and save 50% off their mobile plan. Get the connectivity to do it all anywhere on Jamaica's largest network, Flow. Visit a store today.
You hear that? Silence. Ever since I moved out of mommy house, I can just kick back, relax, have a drink. And it's all thanks to Gateway with a 7.4% interest rate, financing up to 95% of the house. And if you're doing a home equity loan, they finance up to 100%. Now what's better than that? What's really better than that? Where are we on?
Gateway Cooperative Credit Union. For more information on our mortgage plan, visit our website at www.gatewayja.com. Opening the way to your financial success.
Healthcare workers are working very hard to ensure lives are saved and people recover quickly from COVID-19. But their work is becoming harder because you're not wearing your mask, washing your hands with soap and water, or using hand sanitizer, and you are not maintaining physical distance. Let's limit the need for hospital beds and ventilators. Do the right thing. Cover your nose and mouth with a mask. Practice good hand hygiene and maintain a physical distance of 6 feet between you and others. COVID-19 is not over. Protect yourself while protecting others. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
One campus, we are carrying the land. One campus, come on, tell me what I want. Campus connection, tell me what I want.
Welcome back. You're tuned to Campus Connection right here on Love 101 FM. I'm Floyd Wilson, and with me this evening is my co-host, Reverend Stevenson Samuels. It's now time for The Bread of Life. The Bread of Life is brought to us today by Yared Taylor, third-year economics and statistics students at the University of the West Indies. Hi, Yared. You ready with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. You hearing me? Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. I'm hearing you now. You can go right ahead.
All right. Good afternoon. The scripture for today is taken from Matthew 5, verse 14 to 16. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand so that it can give light to everyone in the house. In this way, let your light shine so they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. All right. So, at first read through the Bible, I never noticed this verse, and what really struck me about it is when it talks about being the light to others, letting your light shine so they may see your good works and glorify your Father. Because not everyone is the most flashy person. Not everybody can tell you your dreams or give prophecies or anything like that, but it's the little things that you do from a place of love to others to show that, yeah, man, me a Christian, and just anything that you do, you glorify the Father. And I remember at UCF camp, they made a song, and that was a part of the chorus too. Let your light shine so they may see your good works and glorify your Father. So in anything you do, it could be helping an old lady on the street. It could be helping somebody with their homework. You could be breaking your world records, like becoming the next Usain Bolt. But in anything you do, glorify God through it. So the world can see your light, which comes from God, and glorify Him.
That's
Hey,
right.
Yared. Thank you so much, Yared, for that. Definitely that's a word of truth, a word of encouragement for our campusites, and a word to hold on into this time. That He is the light of the world, and He will really definitely shine His light, in this time. Thank you so much, Yared, for that blessing, and all the best to you as you enter into this Christmas season.
All right, you too. God bless.
All
Want
right,
to
Pastor
remind
Sam.
students, yes, want to remind students that you can call us during the show to have a chat with our guests. And we have two guests in the studio today with us. We have Youth Prime Minister David Salmon, whoa, and Shadow Minister for Youth and Sport, Gabriela Morris. Wow. I'm just looking forward to hearing from these fantastic young people, young persons, all right? And you can connect with us via our studio lines at 876-968-8327. That's 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. You can also send a message on our WhatsApp line. And trust me, if you send a message on our WhatsApp line, we will definitely get it and we will engage that message. That will be 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. And now it's time to discuss what's on our minds. Woohoo!
Definitely. Always interested to kind of look at what's on our minds, Pastor Sam. And I read or heard a very interesting discussion sometime last week where some schools were kind of disputing the grades that they got in their 60 examinations, and some persons were really questioning the means of how CXE came up with their grades, especially some of the more traditional high performance schools were really complaining that some of their students did not perform as they expected. And I read an article about it, and I realized that there was some slight modifications in the way that CXC went about doing their grading this year. And I really do hope that they come up with a solution to that, because it really does. It has really left a sour taste in some of these high performing schools. I remember listening to the Campion principal, and she was one of them who was really raising the issues on the national platform. So, hats off to CXC and on the great work they're doing, but also want them to really, come to a resolution with this discrepancy.
That's right. And I know it must be a very challenging time for parents and for students. They spoke about students, for instance, who were expecting to get scholarships, and those scholarships
Yes.
fell through because the grades weren't up to par. And
Yes.
students who had already accepted, was already in the system, like they had
Yes.
gone to the university already, and they found themselves in a quandary because they're not going to get the kind of financial support because of their grades. Very sad about that one.
Yeah. That's definitely one of the topics that definitely on my mind at this time.
Right. So we hope that Doc, the head of CXC, Jamaica, and right over there in Barbados, man of faith, indeed, that he will be able to respond to these queries and clear up these issues as quickly as possible.
That's right. That's Dr. Wayne Wesley.
Yes.
We just pray for him on the team, and just hope that they will just work through this as best as possible.
Maybe we should get Dr. Wayne Wesley on this program like next week, like a special edition, you know, like this is the last one for this season, but we have an out of season one. And just talk to Dr. Wayne and hear what he has to say about these grades. I'm sure he has an explanation.
Yes. So that's on my mind. Anything on your mind for this time, Pastor
Well,
Sam?
there was a youngster that got burnt up the other day, and
Yes.
whenever I hear tragic situations with our students, I always am very concerned. I start to wonder how that student is thinking and processing under the pain, under the death, near death situation, and so on. I'm always very concerned about students that meet upon tragic situations and circumstances.
Yeah, me too. And there have been some young people who have been into some tragic encounters recently, some traumatic encounters. I remember also that little boy who was mauled by the dogs in St. Anne. So some, we have to really just watch out and look out for our children.
Of course, absolutely.
At this time and just at every time.
Absolutely. The world is becoming, more and more dangerous for children. And so we have to talk to our children more about their own safety and security. And in addition to that, we have to get our parents to be a little more attentive. Not that they are not interested, but I think sometimes we don't realize how vulnerable our children are to tragic situations and circumstances around them. So we really have to give added protection. How we protected our children 2 years ago can't be like that again. We have to be way more attentive and protective.
That is a great point, Pastor Sam. That's a great point. Well,
Yes.
that's it for On My Mind right now. We just want to remind our listeners that you're tuned to the family station Love 101, and this is Campus Connection. This is where students connect to grow, with my co-host, Reverend Stevenson Samuels. And it's now time. What time is it, Pastor Sam?
Hey, it's time for our second, or rather our first. I'm so used to second, but it's time for our first Let's Talk About It segment, where we will be chit-chatting about being student and a governmental leader at the same time. We actually have, we will be having a chat rather with Jamaica's first and youngest senator, who is the shadow minister for youth and sport. But first youngest, maybe that is more correct. I yield to the correction. First, the youngest senator, who is the shadow minister for youth and sport, Gabriela Morris.
Hey, welcome to the program, Gabby.
Hello. Good evening to you both and to the Love 101 family. Happy to be here.
It's great having you, Gabriela, as Jamaica's youngest ever senator, and being a senator also while finishing up school. Definitely, we want to hear a little bit more about your story and about your involvement in the youth parliamentarian arm. You just want to remind our listeners.
Right. It's not youth parliamentarian.
Yeah, I think you're mixing me up with David.
She's senator. This is not something. You understand?
No.
This is not a trial run.
Sorry, Gabriela, I'm mixing you up with David. Someone you are actually in the Senate.
That's
so,
right.
So you have moved from that stage. So, I guess David has, when we talk to David, he can talk to us about his ambitions to one day be a parliamentarian, being a part of the Senate. But Gabby, great having you. Great having you with us this afternoon.
Hey, Floyd. We just want to remind our listeners, students, parents, principals, teachers, pastors, anybody, please, the phone lines are now open. Trust me,
Yes.
even though I ask Gabriela no question yet, we're doing it a little different this evening. We're opening the phone lines right now. You can give us a call to speak with the youngest ever in the history of Jamaica, the youngest Senator Gabriela, or to even ask her some questions. She's really here to be your voice. Please call us via our studio lines at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. Or you can even send a voice note or a message to our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125. So come on, let's go right ahead into our discussion with the great historical figure in Jamaica, Gabriela Morris. Over to you, Floyd.
Hey, Gabriela, it is great. And I tell you, all that, built up is great, Gabriela, and it is well deserved. You are an outstanding young lady, and what you have done is definitely highly commendable. And, you are a role model for so many young people, especially young ladies in Jamaica. Gabriela, the first question I want to ask you, I know we have a short period of time. We could really get the whole hour with you, but, we have a short period of time with you. I just wanted us, for those persons who are listening, how did you get involved with, with politics, with representation? Tell us a little bit about how that began.
Well, okay, all right. So I was appointed this September, and leading up to that, I would have been involved in youth governance, student leadership. I would have served on the Urimona Guild for at least 2 years. And through my involvement there, I was exposed to other leadership opportunities, and it gave me a chance to identify with young people. And from there, I branched off into being a part of the People's National Party youth organization. And that's where I got my footing, in the PNP. And from there, from my service to young people through the guild, Dr. Peter Phillips, or then opposition leader, he would have seen my progress. He would have seen the contributions that I could make, and so he appointed me as a senator. But it started from that build up of giving service to young people through the guild and through other student organizations.
Wow.
So tell me something, Gabriela. I'm interested to know what area did you serve in on the guild?
Well, I first served as hall chairwoman for the Mary C. Cole Hall. That's the only female hall on campus. And then I moved on to be the first vice president of the Guild of Students, with responsibility for student welfare and taking care of international students. So it was very student oriented, having to always deal with young people, address their issues, advocate on their behalf. And then from there, I tried a third stint where I decided to run for president. I was not successful, but I continued from there to still be involved with students. And as a result, I'm still a resident advisor, student development practitioner on campus.
Excellent.
So in addition to this, I'm still there on the campus, giving service to young people.
That's just absolutely marvelous how you're still a senator and still involved with student ministry. Well, not student ministry rather, but student governance. In regards to student governance, it sounds like student governance really played a pivotal part in your own development as a leader. What are some of the lessons that you learned from being a part of student representation?
One that quickly comes to mind that I find to be so important, even now as I try to navigate the national political scene, is knowing when to be silent, knowing what battles are worth taking on. Student government has helped me to acquire a more measured approach to leadership. And I think that is especially important for young leaders, knowing how to navigate, how to listen, how to avail themselves to learn and to be taught. And that's definitely something that I picked up. Another thing that I've always, you know, respected that came out of student government was that understanding that it's not about you, it's about the people that you have been elected or appointed to serve. And so that's something that I hold very near and dear to me, even in giving service to my country, that it's not about me, Gabriela Morris, it's about the thousands of young people out there who need somebody to be their voice. It's about the thousands of women, men, children who need representation. And so that's what I'm here to offer.
Yes, Gabriela.
Tell me something, Gabriela. You need, as you go forward, you need a moral compass.
That's right.
To guide you, because everything emanates from that compass, from your core values. What would you say, Gabriela, would be maybe let's say your 3 top core values that you hold dear to, that helps to guide you in your journey of leadership? What would those be?
Right off the bat, I would identify, as I said, that understanding that everyone has worth. From a tender age, you grow up in church and school, and they tell you to be respectful of everybody regardless of their stature. And it translates even now, as an adult. I'm still cognizant that every person in society deserves that regard. Every person in society deserves that respect, no matter what their station is. So that's one, respect for all people. 2, one value that I hold very firm to is telling the truth. I mean,
right.
that is something that public officials have been criticized about over the years.
Yes.
And some might say, I'm coming in naive, and but for me, I see it as simple. Telling the truth is way easier than having to contend with a string of lies, and they all catch up to you at some point. So I believe that it's important for me, at least, as a public figure, to be honest with the people that I've been appointed to serve. And
yes,
third,
yes.
I don't remember if you asked me for 3 or you just asked me to state some.
Well, I asked you for 3, but if you want to leave it at 2, I'm fine with that.
I think I can leave it at 2 because those are 2 things that are very meaningful for me. Very, very important.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Gabriela, as you are serving in the capacity now as the Shadow Minister for Youth and Sports, these are 2 very important areas in our culture, in the lives of Jamaicans, especially when it comes on to the youth. What can we expect from you, and what are some of the ways that you would want to make an impact as the Shadow Minister for Youth and Sports?
Okay, so as a young person myself, being given the opportunity to take on this portfolio of youth, it's such an important opportunity for me, because youth encapsulates the people that I see every day, my friends, my classmates, my colleagues. And so it's with great pride, that I take on this portfolio. And for me, at least, my main focus will be on giving representation to young people. When I was appointed, one of the things that I said consistently was that I believe that I'm a voice for a generation. And understanding that, I come into the portfolio with the knowledge that I have to be vocal and strident, in addressing the issues that young people have to contend with. Another thing that I think is important is not just providing criticisms on what the government puts forward for young people and for sports, but also providing recommendations. And so I want to ensure that there's some amount of emphasis on providing viable options that will be in the benefit of young people and our sportsmen and sportswomen. And finally, I want to also place a great deal of emphasis on grassroots development, because I believe that social programs at the community level can go a far way in changing the culture that we see here in Jamaica, especially with young people. And as a student in the area of social and behavioral change, I believe that it's important for us as a country to look at how we can change our behavior to influence positive outcomes.
Ah, wow.
Excellent.
We're talking with Gabriela Morris, and we're going to be completing this conversation in a very short while. But I really would like for someone to give a call to Gabriela or to call us here in the studio at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. Maybe you'd want to just offer a word of commendation to Gabriela for opening herself and availing herself to serve in this very, very critical area of the nation's life at this, some people would say, tender age, or maybe you'd want to ask her a question, or you'd want to give her just a word of counsel. I really would like for you to just make a link with us right now at these numbers, and let's just, even one person out there, just say a word to Gabriela at this time. While the person is making that connection, Floyd, would it be okay for me to ask her another question?
Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this young, smart leader of a woman, who ran. Let me put one, hit below the belt on this one, Gabriela, who ran for president of UA Guild and lost the battle. But
yes,
in the midst of the loss, she became senator. Never ever happened in the history of this country. Let me ask you, Gabriela, you are senator at this point. There would have been persons and institutions that have contributed to the formation of Gabriela. Who Gabriela is today, the leader of a woman that she represents, the impact that she has, the accomplishments. There would have been an institution or two, a person or two. Would you want to share one institution, Gabriela, that has really contributed to your formation as a person, and maybe one individual that has made a lifelong impact on who you are today?
Rev, you're going to get me in trouble, It's so hard for me to pinpoint, one
Don't worry
person.
yourself,
But
Gabriela.
let me try to squeeze it all in there, because you said it perfectly that there must be persons who have contributed. And for me, Rev, I'm telling you that it's taken a community effort. I say all the time that I was raised by a village, from my schools, from basic school right up to university. I have to commend my teachers at the Montego Bay High School for Girls in Montego Bay and the Cornell Avenue Primary School. I have to give big up to my church family, the Montego Bay Assembly Adventist Church.
Nice.
My parents, I tell you about my parents, they're educators, and they've always instilled in me values that I've carried with me. You see those values we hear me talk about, Rev? Those are from my parents and from church, my extended family, my friends at university, my lecturers, all of them. I have such a strong team who they're so committed to supporting and motivating me. And I just have to say thank you. I'm so thankful for that village, that really bears me up and supports me in every way.
Gabriela
Wow,
Morris is
wow.
who we are talking about and talking
Yeah.
to, Floyd. From
Gabriel,
school and
you have
family,
just, yeah, school, family,
church,
friends, lecturers,
yeah.
church.
Everybody, and even the people on social media who I don't know, but who send positive messages. I'm thankful for my social media family. That even that is such a great feeling to know that there are persons supporting you who you've never even met.
Mm. Yeah, we want to get.
Gabriel, Rev, I just want to ask her one thing before we wrap up this section, though. Many campus sites, young people are listening to you, Gabriela, right now. What word of encouragement, advice, persons we're going through a kind of time of adversity right now, but what word of advice would you give to some campus site in high school, college listening right now and say, that they have aspirations of leadership? What
Mm.
advice would you give them?
I'd say keep at it, keep pushing, choose a target and action it, work towards it, because everybody is not on the same path, everybody's not on the same trajectory. But once you have a goal in mind, then and you work towards it, then I believe that it's achievable. So for those who want to enter leadership, get involved. Don't be afraid to put your foot in the water. Give service even when you don't see any what you call that, no rewards. A lot of my leadership experience came from volunteering. And so I hope that there are young people out there who are taking the time out to give back to their communities, to give back to their country. And finally, I want to say that it is possible for young people to contribute to their nation. We have this phrase of young people being seen and not heard. Those days are over, long gone, because what we are realizing is that we are living in the present, and we always say that young people are the future, but young people are also the here and now. And so it's important for youth, for us to raise our voices, to join the conversation, and to play an instrumental role in making decisions that will impact our future. So I'm encouraging the young people out there who are listening to really take your future up in your hands and play your part.
Hey,
Wow, wow.
that's so powerful. Hey, Floyd, me have one last question to man. We do have time to finish, but this are the senator we are dealing with in the Virgin. and Gabriela, I'm a pastor, as you know, and you have addressed me that kind of way. So you know the thing, though.
Yes.
I want to heal up my Virgin Pastor Oliphant, who is a chaplain for the Adventist movement right there at the University of the West Indies. But let me ask you, how can a pastor like Pastor Oliphant and Stevenson Samuels and so on, just tell me one thing that you think, Gabriela, because a lot of times when we see young people striving like you, we leave you alone, because, we just feel sad, she all right, or, she's not interested, or how can a pastor, Gabriela, serve you? What is one or two things you'd want to see a pastor do for you to give you support in your life as a national leader at this time? Tell me.
Okay. You know, I think that the church still has a very important role to play in advancing young people. And, you know, for me at my local church, I used to be involved in a number of youth movements, and I see where they have been instrumental in building young people. And so, it's not just for me as a young person. I think that our ministers or religious leaders, they can still be instrumental in providing support for our young people. As you said, a lot of times we see our young people going about their daily lives, and we don't think about the fact that they might be facing struggles, whether it's financial, whether it's social, whether it's physical, and I think that having that source of inspiration that I believe can come from ministers it's important, it's
Yeah.
impactful. And so I think that our pastors they are instrumental in this fight that we have, towards building our young people and providing that support and guidance and mentorship. I'd
Yeah.
love to see that from our ministers coming out a
Thank
little bit
you.
more, supporting our young people and bearing them up.
Yes, yes. Thanks, thanks.
Hey, Gabriela, Pastor Sam, I tell you, we could have interviewed Gabriela for the full hour. Gabby,
I tell you.
And I would love to sit here and talk. Yes.
yeah, yeah. In the words of an author, Michael Porter, good leaders need positive agenda, not just an agenda of dealing with crisis. And Gabriela, we wish you all the best in your endeavors. Keep on being a trailblazer and carving out your own path. God bless you. And it was great having you this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. And I hope I can be on again at some point.
Of course, right. I hope so too. Hey, listeners, stick and stay with us, because on the other side of this break, we will get to speak to you and with the outgoing youth prime minister from the National Youth Parliament, David Salmon. And we will be right back after these messages.
Oh, no. Let me tell you, say, I love it there. I love it there. Love it. I am a man, yes. Strong man.
Do men become depressed during this season? Are most men desiring to have a Christmas free from the weight of expectations women and society place on them? Well, be sure to check your mail this Wednesday, December 16, inside the mailbox at 5:30 p.m. as we will find out if COVID is affecting a man's ability to provide this Christmas. Pastor Courtney Morrison and Kevin Bailey with guest, transformational psychologist and problem solver, Dr. Lakim Samaj, will zoom in on men and Christmas. Depressed, desperate, or desiring? That's the mail inside the mailbox this Wednesday, December 16 at 5:30 p.m. here on Love 101 FM, the family station.
Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
If I can make one wish come true, it's to spend Christmas with.
Glow shares the love this Christmas. Enjoy unlimited YouTube, talk, and social when you activate your 5-day or higher prepaid mobile plan. And with every activation, you get a reward. Flow will send you a text with a digital scratch card. Scratch it and unwrap extra data or credit. Dial *129*6 to activate. And keep checking your SMS for special Christmas gift rewards. Flow connects you to all you want for Christmas.
How does government work?
Whom if you talk to when my street need paving?
The MP?
The mayor?
Who is a senator?
Where them do?
How does House of Parliament work?
A long time they no come collect me garbage, Now whom if you talk to?
And how do I register my company in Jamaica?
I want name charity status.
Got questions? We've got the answers. Listen to Breaking It Down, Governance, Policies, and You. Learn about how things work and why things work, and how you can benefit. Breaking It Down, Governance, Policies, and You with me, Nadine Blair, Fridays at 6:45 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
Boy, come, we need to hear this.
This Christmas, don't just share the chair with you and yours. Share the clean with Speed Queen. Shop at Singer from November 2 to December 31, 2020, and purchase any Speed Queen washer or dryer for your chance to win. 2 lucky winners will get back the purchase price of their washer or dryer. Then to top it off, the first winner selected will also get the chance to choose a children's home to be the recipient of a Speed Queen washer for free. Share the love, share the clean with Speed Queen and Singer this Christmas. Must be 18 years or older to enter. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Tell me what I want, campus connection, adults are going from campus, young people are hard from campus, come on, tell me what I want.
Hey, thank you for sticking and staying with us right here on the family station, Love 101. I'm Floyd Wilson, and this is Campus Connection, where youths connect to grow. I'm with my co-host, Stimson Samuels, in the house, and right now we go into our second Let's Talk About It segment. We just had a conversation with Gabriela Morris. Pastor Sam, we have another great guest in the second Let's Talk About It segment.
Absolutely. We have with us after talking with Gabriela, we are continuing our discussion on youth students or youth and students in governmental leadership. We now have the Prime Minister joining us. And sorry, we mean like the youth Prime Minister, whose tenure has ended, David Salmon. Hey, David, welcome to the program.
Greetings and greetings to your listeners, and thank you for having me.
Good to be here. Sorry to be joining you this late, but we want to jump right into it. Tell me something. Were you studying while being youth Prime Minister?
Absolutely. I am a second-year public policy and management student at the University of the West Indies.
Oh, this is straight up politics, man.
Well, it's looking at how best, or rather the university best positions me to learn about the public sector and how to improve certain issues that have been identified.
And with that kind of a degree, what are some of the professions that you can get into?
Well, certainly looking into serving in the public sector, managing respective corporate bodies, public sector entities, looking at policy analysts, eventually politics if the interest exists. So numerous different opportunities exist having a background in public policy.
Right. Tell me something. How did you balance the whole business of being the youth Prime Minister of Jamaica and engaging your studies?
Well, it is certainly a game of being organized and being time-centric. So for me, the schoolwork that is the absolute priority, and allocating as much time to maximize on studies is essential. Then after that, looking at how best to allocate time in regards to the specific portfolios that I occupy. So for instance, I'm not only a member of the Youth Parliament, but I currently serve on the Early Child Commission, and I'm a columnist for the Jamaica Gleaner. So it's a question of how best to balance time to maximize impact while essentially maintain good standards in my studies.
Okay. I just want to jump in here, Pastor Sam. I just want to ask David a question.
I'm dumbfounded. I am stunted. I don't know what to say right now. I mean, the president, on the Early Childhood Commission, and he's a columnist, and he's a student, and he's the youth Prime Minister, and oh my God, his resume has passed mine already.
David, they must tell us how you are able to, balance all of that. But as I say, you make the studies a priority. What is it that how do you go about doing time management? For students maybe who are listening and saying, that's a lot. How do you go about managing your time so that you're effective at all that you're doing?
Well, before I start any activity, I set out the list of things that I do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. I look at that list, I arrange that list according to the essential priorities. For example, school be number one, supporting the family number two, things like that. And then what I do is I allocate time, or what I believe is sufficient amount of time to go and achieve proficiency in that level. So for example, whether it is revising an hour per day or looking at how much classes or what classes do I attend per week. So when I allocate that time, then I look at what time do I have left, and then carve up the remainder of my schedule to satisfy those times. So the benefit of that system is that the priorities are met, while at the same time, extracurricular activities are also satisfied at maximum efficiency.
The man turned economist already. Trust me.
Boy, David, you sound like a productivity expert, man. And I liked how you broke down, the time in different slots. And busy people are organized persons. And from what you said, we can see that being organized is a great part of, is a very important part of you being able to do all that you do. For those persons who are not familiar with what a youth parliamentarian does, what was involved in your role as a youth parliamentarian, and what were some of your accomplishments while you served?
And also, more particularly, as Prime Minister too.
Yes, yes.
It was certainly a very wholesome experience. Many persons may not see this initially, but the parliamentary session where I would serve as the Prime Minister actually comes at the end of the program. So there's a wide expanse in time where we are learning through different workshops conducted through the National Integrity Action, for instance, or with the ministry, learn how to analyze policy, as well as we do individual constituency and respective county projects. So I'm not only the youth parliamentarian for St. Andrew East, so St. Andrew Eastern, but I also served as county coordinator. And the successes of our team are numerous. So for instance, we had an online seminar series planned by my deputy county coordinator, the youth parliamentarian from St. Thomas Western, and we impacted over 900 young people through 4 sessions looking at volunteerism, professional development, climate change, all of that. And that was in August. We also distributed over 1,350 books during COVID, during the pandemic, to 6 schools across Portland, St. Thomas, and St. Andrew. Additionally, we painted a number of schools, not only within Surrey, but across Jamaica. We have distributed over 1,500 care packages. We have planted over 150 trees. And locally now, within my constituency, we had a joint constituency project where we painted facilities at the Augustine Primary School, as well as a basic school in St. Andrew Southeastern. So we have numerous successes in the program. You can check the Sunday Gleaner every Sunday for the month of November. It features a number of the projects the cohort has done and I've done personally in this program. Now, as Youth Prime Minister, my role essentially is to lead the government caucus, not a political, it's a non-political initiative, but I lead the government caucus, assist with the respective presentations that are done, as well as summarize some of the successes. So for this year, my presentation had focused on agriculture and the need for more research and development and insurance in order to level up the industry.
Oh my God.
Wow.
This is crazy. Oh Lord. Listen, if you want to ask our good friend a question, you can do so right now. And I know we're coming to the end of the program, but we're still going to give you time to ask a question, to give encouragement, to make a statement to him. The Youth Prime Minister of Jamaica, the immediate past Youth Prime Minister of Jamaica, 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. You can give him a call, or you can actually engage us on our WhatsApp line, and that would be 876-997-3125. Floyd.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm going to ask a question that you asked earlier, Pastor Sam. David, being involved with so much different things, I was trying to keep track of all the different things you were involved with as a youth parliamentarian, but the list just kept going and going and going. Being a leader, there must be some things that are something that keeps you grounded. What would you say are the institutions or the persons that have contributed to the values and the principles that you hold to, that keep you grounded?
Well, I would say a wealth of different individuals keep me grounded, particularly my family, especially my mother and my brother, who continue to motivate me and I call my mom, for example, my primary editor. So whenever I'm writing something, I'd read it to her, I'd ask her thoughts on different initiatives. I would even, before I leave out, I'd ask my brother, how does this look? How does this work? And such. So those persons are certainly my primary motivator. Now, additionally, I would also say my school, persons from my alma mater, Wilmot's Boys School, they have really assisted me, molded me, provided opportunities for me to learn and to be the person I am. Most definitely, I would also say my lecturers at the university. For example, Dr. Campbell, she has certainly been a real role model for myself. And the list goes on and on. But you see, what I want to highlight is that success is not just about the individual, but it's around the core group of supporters behind them. And for me, this, what I've been able to achieve is the manifestation of the support of my respective family, respective individuals, institutions, and most definitely the Almighty who continues to empower me with the skills and the knowledge to tackle new issues going forward.
Yeah, I hear you, David, talking about Woolmans, and you spoke about just how Woolmans has helped to shape you. What I want, if you are able to identify in a very practical way, this great school, and I hear about the history and the work and the worth of Woolmans by many Woolmerians. Tell me one way, one thing about Woolmans that you think. We all think our schools are, would be unique, but what is it about? What is there one thing about Woolmans that really would have impacted you in a way that you'd want to say, yes, this thing is very significant in Woolmans?
Absolutely. The one thing that I can definitely attribute to Wilmers is the people. We have a very encouraging set of persons, both in terms of the student population and the teacher cohort. So for instance, my former vice principal, Miss Leo, she has definitely been a big supporter of my good friend now, Trevon, who we worked together since as far back as second form. The English department at Wilmers was certainly a major source of support. So for instance, I did debating, I still do debating as well. And several teachers, including my former HOD, Miss McCleary, she has really been someone who has invested in myself, be patient, has helped to mold me. So that's just a small cross section, but certainly it's the people that make the experience at Wilmers matter.
Excellent, excellent. Wow, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to David Salmon. David Salmon is a student at the University of the West Indies in the government department, may I say, and a past student of Woolmers and the immediate past youth prime minister of Jamaica. And we are so privileged and proud to be having this kind of conversation with our brother and our friend. Floyd?
Yes, we thank you so much, David, for being with us. But before we go, we just have to just kind of share some, some views. There was a message on Facebook from Marlene Da Costa, or that's Marlene Da Costa. She says, "I respect you, Miss Gabrielle, for your input, the way you respond. You will be a great blessing to our youth in Jamaica and across the globe. You are a leader. You are going to impact the world. God bless you." That's a note there from Marlene Da Costa sharing about Gabriela, who was with us earlier. But we also have a voice note from a listener. We're going to take that voice note right now.
The list goes on and on, but you see...
Good evening, Pastor Sam and company. This young man makes me want to cry. Water wants to come from my eye. I'm so proud of him. Phyllis from Yalas.
Thank you. This is so very wonderful. Thank you very much. I like when people share how they feel when they listen to our young people with all of this great energy. Jamaica has a really great future. And if our young people can just get it together and, just stay focused, they can become some serious leaders in this country for us and for the future of this country. David, what of the future? As you look to the future right now, what are some of your aspirations, some of your plans as we bring closure to this great program this evening?
Well, I would like to say that the future of Jamaica rests with providing opportunities for people. You would have recalled that Norman Manley said that the mission of his time was to bring independence and self-governance for Jamaica. Well, I believe that the mission of my time and the mission of the youth of this nation is to achieve that true mission of providing opportunities for all Jamaicans, regardless of their background, their circumstances, their upbringing, they can achieve success based on their merit. They can pursue their own initiative. That is certainly my mission. That's the mission of our time that we have to do. And that's what I would like to say I will continue to do going forward.
Excellent. Proud of you, David.
Yes, great vision, David.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much for having me.
God bless you. We pray God's strength upon your life. You hear?
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yes, all right, so that's where we wrap up the program for this week. We want to thank you for participating in this week's episode of Campus Connection. We're almost at the end of the term, and we only have one more show to go before we break for the holidays. So in closing, we just want to thank our producer, Tony K. Bromfield, for great work as producer. I want to thank Derval Graham and Daniel Downs for their technical support. I want to also thank our guests for this show. I want to thank Gary Taylor, who shared with us in our Bread of Life segment. Also, the Shadow Minister of Youth and Sports, Gabriela Morris, the youngest ever senator of Jamaica.
That's right. And also to our outgoing youth prime minister, David Salmon. Brethren, enough respect. We really do rate you. And for information on how to get copies of this program, call our production department right now. Or you can do that tomorrow also. And the number is, get your pen and paper, 876, that's right, 968-9597. That's 876-968-9597. Or you can download the podcast via our mobile app. That's Love 101 FM.
Until next week, same place, same time.
Hey, stay safe and sanitized.
Plus, you know them must bring something for you. Word of the day, that is something for your youth. Bread of life, that I know my food. Plus,